check, 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 chop it down, check, 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 chop it down, chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down, chop it down, chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down.
I just appreciate everybody
Damn, set,
man.
Watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.
Yes, sir. Oh, my bad, Dakota. Welcome back to another episode of Trap or Dive Podcast, post-game edition. Washington handled business in Houston as they were supposed to do. I guess no surprises here, or no would-be surprises here. 23-10. I see you out too in the comments, man. Make sure, let's go to the administrative item out of the way. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you are just checking in, hit that follow button on Twitch if you are just checking in. But yeah, Washington handled business 23-10. Nothing special over here for the most part. For me, fellas, and for my opening thoughts, and I'll just hand the floor to you all after. I think for the most part, the majority of this game, it was all about just getting through it, getting through the motions. There was a lot of conversation prior to this game that it could be a trap game, or that it could be a letdown spot, or however you want to phrase it. I think that for all of its worth, like on paper, there should have been no reason why Washington cannot handle the Houston Texans in a convincing manner. And they did just that. This wasn't even like a really good game for Washington on the offensive side of the football, but that's not uncommon given, what this unit is. But at the end of the day, 20-0 out of the half. And then you're basically on what it seems like cruise control, which I guess that's the lack of a better phrase, because I really don't think that they weren't trying in the second half. I just think that they couldn't get anything going. So, fellas, I see everybody in the chat. Peace Craft, what's going on? Al too. Yep, Block Party, as you mentioned. Hawk, what's going on? Monty, Jarian, I see you. Kenneth, I see you. Yes, I see you all. Fellas, I'm gonna get the floor to you all. What's your thoughts about the game? Like I said, it's just a lackluster game, uneventful, but some very good takeaways. We'll get into that afterwards.
I know AJ gonna have some comments because he was texting us in before the show, but yeah, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. I mean, it's funny because as a Washington fan for years and years and years, we've witnessed this team. They could either play up or they could play down to opponent, and they usually do, both. Like they play up to opponent if the opponent's up, or they're going to play down to them if they're down. So I had a conversation with my mom yesterday. I had visited her. We were talking about the team. She's a big fan as well. She was like, "Man, I just fully expect them to have a letdown game against this bad team tomorrow." And I was like, "Yeah, Ma, I kind of expect the same. That's usually how it works." But they went out there and they won, and they won convincingly. They were never threatened in this game. Houston didn't pose a threat. As you said, the offense, it was the offense. It looked like the normal offense we've seen from this team. I mean, they still had, ball control offense. They made the timely plays when they made it, but nothing explosive about this offense. You're not going to expect them to go out there and put up big numbers. But the defense has just continually balling. I mean, they're playing an inferior opponent. Texans offense is nothing to be scared of, but this defense wasn't threatened. I mean, that last score, you just let your foot off the gas by then. They weren't even playing.
They never even gave up they never won a half this year without scoring a touchdown, and Washington held them scoreless.
Exactly. So, I mean, and that's just a testament to what they've been doing. I mean, they've been doing this for about a 6 to 7 week run now where they just been playing solid football. And like I said, when you finally established an identity on offense, now, their identity on offense, I think we can safely say that they're a ball control team. Like they want to hold on to the ball and they want to make games ugly. And that's what they do. But the defense is playing so good. Like you're getting chances to win games. And this is the first game that they really, really were just never threatened by an opponent. And it's really refreshing to see. Now, it was a boring game, don't get me wrong, but I'll take these type of boring games for a Washington fan. Normally, we have these, gut-wrenching, nail-biting games, but, today was a really peaceful Sunday. We got the win. They look good, and, hey, they're keeping the ball rolling.
Yeah, man. This was a very boring game. Like, was watching the game, and then the game started watching me. Um, Still, offensively, they're inept in the red zone. It's increasingly frustrating when you work your way all the way downfield and you can't put 6 points up on the board when you get into the red zone. It's just like no strategic plan is there when they get in those positions. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Um, Overall the defense they balled out, but like Dre and Mual have already said, they did what they were supposed to do. Like this is one of those games on the schedule where you kind of knew this was an automatic win, no matter how bad this team looked in the beginning of the season or not. This is when you have circle as a guaranteed victory. The Texans look like a team that is 1-8-1 now.
Yeah.
They're definitely competing for the number one pick to take the first quarterback off the board. I'm glad to know that Ben St. Juice he's going to be okay. Washington defensively, they have a ball hawk in Defoe. He keeps making plays and he's always around the ball. Got another pick today. Kendall Fuller, that pick six was as easy as it could come, but that helped to kickstart things. In this situation where they couldn't really score or make do of what was happening in the red zone. But I mean, overall, good to get out there with a victory and not a bunch of injuries on the team. And from while we're broadcasting live, it sounds like Ron Rivera plans to stick with Taylor Heineke for the remainder of the season. It looks like because he says he's their guy and they're winning. Unfortunately, that means we just got to keep watching his bum ass continue to play quarterback.
All right. Well, here's the quote. I got the quote right here for us, and we'll circle back to Heineke. Where do I find the share screen and window? Okay. Make sure it is audio. All right, boom. Here we go. Is the audio fine too? My bad, because somebody said last time they couldn't hear. Can y'all hear this?
I can't hear it now.
We can't hear the audio from Ron.
All right. Damn. All right, I got it. Let's try this again. Share system audio. And this is not. Let's try this one more time. Okay, there we go. Now we're good.
And then your favorite question on the quarterbacks.
Good.
You have planned
Yeah.
All right,
with Taylor. We're gonna go with Taylor, and we'll work Carson back in and see where Carson is in terms of if he's ready to be the backup, and then we'll go from there.
What were those conversations like?
They were very good.
With Carson in particular, obviously he didn't come here to be a backup, but was he generally
Right. He
understanding?
was very good. He really was.
What was it Taylor has shown you to lead you to this decision?
Winning. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. I mean, that's where we are right now. And then your favorite question.
All right. So those are the full responses on Taylor and his situation. I don't think that should be any surprise to anybody. I don't think that should be any surprise to anybody. That was two things. One, in the boat of wanting to have Carson Wentz back. And then two, anybody who actually wanted to keep Taylor in. Or I guess three, in the same vein of Sam Howell coming in right now and trying to keep this team afloat. I don't know. But I think Taylor at this point, when you go from a record standpoint, and I actually mentioned this, I don't know if it was to you all, AJ and Dre. I don't remember, but I had mentioned this part too, like just in terms of being a free agent. Your record still matters. Like going, I think he's 4-1 now. So five total starts and 4-1. I think is his record. Going 4-1 is a big deal. And I think Ron Rivera mentioned just now, like, what was the reason behind it? The team is winning. And I think, honestly, I don't think you're 4-1 with Carson Wentz as your starter either. So I just think this one was a pretty obvious move. I don't think statistically anything warrants anybody on this roster saying that any of these guys are starting quality quarterbacks. But I'll get the floor to you all just about his thoughts on Taylor.
I mean,
It's
I
also
think,
my bad. This also doesn't even say that he's the starter for the rest of the season either. I think this is kind of like based off that report, that rap sheet report, I think, in terms of just him starting until Wentz is really, fully healthy to be evaluated.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like sometimes we put too much onus on these quarterback records and stuff, because I can't sit here and say that they've won any of these games because of Taylor. Like,
But hold
if any,
on, because I ain't about to. I'm saying winning matters to
no,
coaches, and winning matters from a free agency standpoint too. Like, you can hang your hat on the fact that he's 4-1. So
but
I'm
it's what
saying,
you
like, who you?
said. It's what you said, and also what's in the comments. Like, in the comments, we got somebody that's saying Heineke is 6-1 in his last 7 road games, like, and 9-4 in his last 13 starts. So it's a combination. It's not just you. Like, I know you understand the difference, but some of these people within the fan base don't understand the difference. Like, we can't sit here and pinpoint where they're winning games because of Taylor Heineke. I mean, it's bad quarterback play overall from anyone in the position, whether it's Taylor Heineke or Carson Wentz. I just think that what's been the turning point for them really is the defense has been able to solidify things communication wise and they're creating turnovers. That is the key reason why they've been able to pile up these wins. They've been creating turnovers. Um, but it's still poor offensive play. Like, I think I just seen a statistic where they were 3 for 13.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to
down.
that. 3 for 13 on third down. And I say it's 1 of 4, but that last fourth one was mainly 1 of 3. That fourth one, it was the kneel down drive. But yeah, not good in the red zone, not good on third down.
Yeah, so it's not winning football from Heineke. It's just they're finding other ways to win games. Unfortunately, man, we'll keep having these conversations about the quarterback position until they decide to do something next year, hopefully. But I mean, I feel like this roster, the way that it's made up as of this moment, if they can bring in an average quarterback that is a dual threat and a offensive coordinator that understands his game plan, his strategy, and utilizing guys to their strengths, that they can add some other pieces and really make a good run with it. I don't believe that this is the coaching staff that does that, but at the end of the day, if they can get something to go along with the pieces that they have defensively and try to, keep Deron Payne within the fold and re-sign him as soon as possible, this team has some building blocks. But yeah, it's just unfortunate for the rest of the season. We're going to keep going back and forth with this Heineke and Wentz talk.
And for me, as far as Heineke talk goes, the record, I mean, yeah, AJ, you have a point in the sense that, you're not necessarily winning these games because of Heineke. But I tell you what, you're not losing games because of Heineke. Like, you're winning these games. And like I said, you may not be able to pinpoint and say, hey, Heineke is the reason why they're winning. But I tell you one thing, bad quarterbacks usually lose you games. Like, really bad quarterbacks lose you games. So a lot of people may think Taylor Heineke's not this, not that. He's a decent backup. I mean, and he can spot start, and which he's shown you. Like, I mean, I think his ceiling in the NFL is backup, high level backup, but he can spot start, and you just won't completely throw up on yourselves when he's in the game. I mean, that's how you're winning these games. I mean, the records aren't a fluke in a sense that when he's in there, they are winning. Like I said, we can sit up here and nitpick and say, well, they're not winning because of him. And we all know that, any rational fan knows that Taylor Heineke's not a franchise quarterback. He's not even a top 20 quarterback, in my opinion. But like I said, he's a guy who guys rally around. He gets them in the right position, and they're not losing games because of him. Like, he's, at least able to keep them afloat. And, these type of games, especially when you've established an identity, as I was saying, you establish the identity that you're a running football team. You're going to play ball control. And basically, you're just telling Taylor Heineke, go out and manage the game. You know, you don't go out and be a hero. You know, you're not that. That's not your game. Just go out there and manage the game and let the rest of the roster, you know, kind of be able to win games. And that's what Heineke's doing. And he is making plays when there is plays that needs to be made. He did that in the Eagles game. I mean, he made countless of third down throws last week against the Eagles. I mean, in this game, he didn't have to really make any big plays. I mean, he missed some plays, but he didn't have to make too many big plays because they were dominating the game the whole game. I mean, Texas couldn't stop them, you know, pretty much when they wanted to run the ball. But, you know, you're not, this is not an explosive offense. They're not going to score a bunch of points, you know. So Heineke, he's doing what he needs to do to keep this team afloat and to keep this team in the conversation that they want to be in right now. So that's why you go with Heineke right now until he falls flat on his face. But again, like I said, I'm not looking at his record and just dismissing him, you know, as a fluke because of him. But at the same time, like I said, he's there. He's making plays when there needs to be plays made. He's not a dynamic, and he also makes reckless plays. I mean, let's get that straight. But they're winning games, and he's making enough plays and doing enough of his part to have a part in those role in winning games.
To that defensive side of the football, I think AJ said something that we probably should touch on just a tad bit. Look, Derek Forrest. First off, the defense, again, we all know did a really good job. I had the numbers, like just in terms of like some key numbers that popped out: 5 sacks on the day, 2 turnovers, forced. 2 turnovers forced, 1 defensive touchdown, 10 points allowed, 21 yards allowed on the ground, and then 148 total yards allowed on the day. Clearly a defensive day, but AJ, you mentioned just how much of a playmaker that Derek Forrest is. Just understanding the type of player that he is actually impressive. And what I mean by that is like the journey that he went through to kind of figure out his role on this defense. And I think kudos to Jack Del Rio for, you know, having this, because he actually had a quote Ron Rivera did throughout this week, and I think it showed itself again this week, but it showed itself as the weeks went on this year. And just that, you know, he's starting to trust his younger guys, and he's putting them in positions that he feels like they can come through and deliver for him. Deliver for that defense. And that showed itself most on the second level. Jamin Davis is now 2 weeks in a row where he's getting the green dot in absence of Cole Holcomb. So you're kind of starting to see some of that trust manifest itself in tangible ways. And Derek Forrest is a guy who has some ball skills that I haven't really seen too much from people on this defense altogether. Like Kendall Fuller has it when he has opportunities. But then like the other people you think of is probably Derek Forrest. Benjamin St. Juste, he's getting better with getting his hands on the ball at the contesting point. But I mean, I'm really out here thinking like William Jackson catches passes on tip balls. He's not here no more.
There's nobody else.
I don't think there's anybody. So that's really good to see. I hand the floor to you all about your thoughts on Derek Forrest, man, because that's to the point of Jack Del Rio and finally putting him finding him to be that center fielder is a really good sight to see with Bobby McCain obviously taking that full-time spot at slot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's all about opportunity, and spending a lot of time with Defoe this offseason. Like he just wanted the opportunity and he felt like he was going to make the best of it. And I think also just the group of guys that they drafted in the class with, the Jamin Davis, the Ben St. Juste and things of that nature, all of those guys are pretty close with each other. So you have like Defoe and Ben, for example, they're really close with each other, hang out with each other a lot off the field, their girlfriends, wives, whatever, all that. Those type of things help with communication as well on the field. As you can see, back-to-back weeks, it's been creating a pass breakup that leads to that leads to Defoe making a play on the ball. It's the effort, it's the commitment to one another. Like Ben, getting caught on by Quez Watkins, but chasing down the play and making that tackle, and Defoe was there to pick up the ball. Like they're working in sync with each other. And I think that's why you also have a lot of things looking better on the back end is because of the relationship and the communication with one another. Unfortunately, when Will Jackson III was out there, he didn't really understand too much. So he was all over the place. It was hard to communicate. It was hard to really put yourself in the proper position and also rely on everybody else to do the same. And moving Bobby McCain, who doesn't have ball hawking skills, he can't play center field. Putting him back to his original spot that he started at in the NFL at slot, has given him more or less responsibility as far as covering the deep half of the field. And now Defoe can use his speed and also his ball tracking skills to the best of his ability instead of necessarily having to try to be a Buffalo nickel or something of that nature. Yeah. And you're seeing turnovers being made, whereas earlier in the season we weren't really seeing that. And that's a huge component of this team winning is the defense is shutting shit down. They still give up some explosive plays, but it's not as much as we've been accustomed to under the Jack Del Rio regime, but they're also creating turnovers. Today, you had a turnover that turned into points directly from the defense. You got Defoe to make a play on the ball. I mean, the game pretty much was slow all day, but, like the communication overall has led to even more sacks happening for Montez Sweat, for Jonathan Allen, for Deron Payne, for some of those other guys too, Hill, Ridgeway, to make their impact in pressures. And that's an important thing. And I just feel like it's unfortunate with this regime that they don't learn about how to utilize these guys until, I don't want to say right now it's not too late, because I don't even want to use the word hunt, but you're over.
You know what word you gotta use, bro. I don't know why you.
It's realistic. He's trying to deny it.
I'm never gonna say the P word on here until it is actually factual. But they're in the hunt because the defense has strapped down and started creating these turnovers, and the communication seems to be better. Guys are on the same page. Even taking Holcomb out the picture, like. I was surprised to find out last week Jamin Davis had the green dot, but like I said, all these guys hang out with each other. They have a better rapport with one another. It all matters, because even take Taylor Heineke, like he's able to, I don't necessarily want to say lead, but they feel more comfortable with him because they can communicate with him, and it goes beyond being on the field. So that's just my take. I feel like if they can continue to create these turnovers, man, they can be a solid team as far as the rest of their schedule. Because I mean, what next is Atlanta, and then New York Giants, who just lost, who pretty much got dogged by the Lions today. Then they go on a bye week, and then what you probably end the season. Have they played Dallas twice already this year?
No.
So it's
Dallas the last game of the year.
Yeah, Dallas last game of the year.
Okay. So you already played the Eagles, you played the Giants again, you played the Cowboys, and then I know you played
Giants
the 49ers.
Yeah. Giants
they got Cleveland before Dallas.
Okay. Deshaun Watson should be back for that game.
Yeah. I said I ain't going to personally talk about I entertain it like our last show, but I said I ain't really entertaining the actual scenarios until that Atlanta game. I think we all knew what the outcome was going to be today. But I think the biggest game, what was the score? The Falcons won today? Did they beat the
Falcons won? Yeah, they beat the Bears.
Okay, yep. There you go. There you go. Y'all know what time it is next week.
Yeah, I needed them. I bet the Falcons too, so it was good they won.
Bro, let me tell you. Oh, nah. Hey, listen, bro, because you gamble. AJ, you gonna be in for a story, bro. Tuesday, I start catching wind about what's going on in Buffalo, right? So I'm like, okay, we got a snow game coming on. It's supposed to be windy too. Okay, let me monitor this line. I'm just be locked in on this game for like the next few days, bro. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I'm just watch this game, bro. Long story short, we get to Thursday, and like I hear that the snow is gonna die down, but it's probably gonna be windy on game day. So I'm like, that's even better because snow doesn't really truly prohibit like a point scoring thing. Like it's the wind. So I'm like, all right, let me put my money down on the under. Let me put my money down on Cleveland, bro. Nigga, Dre, not even 2 hours after I placed this bet, bro, they moved the game from Buffalo to Detroit, bro.
Detroit.
I took the under at 41. And then I had Cleveland,
Smashed
bro.
over.
Smash it, bro. I
Smashed
called the bookie. I'm like, bro, y'all gotta let me get my money back, bro. I made this bet off the strength of what's going on in Buffalo. Y'all mean to tell me y'all can't give me my money back, bro? They
Nope,
said house
ain't
rules.
doing that.
They said house rule says the game is still on even if they relocate, bro. NFL rules. I'm like, fuck y'all, bro. I'm moving on to FanDuel after this.
What did the score end up being?
Bro, first off, I'm about to tell you. Give me 2 seconds. But
Cleveland got a last-second touchdown too.
Did they cover? Like the 8
I
points?
think they did. They only lost by 8. So
Okay.
well,
So let me see. I'm looking. I pulled it up now. Where is the game at? 31-23. So they scored 54 points. Browns pushed, but the over was killed. I stood no chance, bro. So that's how my Sunday went. My whole point of bringing that up too, by the way, Dre, was the fact that in my account I put majority of my funds on this game, so I ain't had shit.
Oh damn!
That was the only game I had today.
Oh, wow,
that was the only game I had today. Yeah, so
it's confident in that joint too.
Nigga, so confident, bro. So confident. Okay, so I think we're good on this. Let me see. Let me catch up with some of the comments. Yep, he said the run game. That is true. I think what also helped too. You know what also hurt 2 out 2. So Washington had another game where they had 40 handoffs. Let me bring the comment back up. 40 handoffs, under 4 yards of carry again. But I think what really hurt both teams is the fact that Davis Mills ain't threatening nobody, right? Like we saw that on the first drive. But then secondly, if all you had to do was run the ball on that side of the ball, it was gonna be really easy for Washington on the defensive side of the football. But then Washington on the other side, like I mentioned, it's the same thing. Like we want to run the ball with Taylor Heineke back there, and so it was easy for them to kind of hold things under control as well. Yeah, Giants back to back and San Fran part of that conversation was going. I follow if you can burp. Well, welcome,
they
in my.
They didn't say hi to me, so hey, I appreciate that.
Welcome in my brother or my sister. I don't know. I appreciate the follow as well, man. Coach fumbled the bag versus the Eagles. Yes, they did, but it's all good. We are still here. So, fellas, AJ, Dre, it wasn't too much to talk about today. We'll circle things back around on Tuesday and obviously talk things. Oh, Thursday's gonna be tough. Thanksgiving. Oh,
that's true. That's true.
Yes. Damn. Matter of fact, okay. So let's go ahead and gear up for Atlanta on Tuesday as well. So we'll figure out some things. Probably try to get a Falcons person on so we can kind of preview the game in advance. And we can all get situated for Thanksgiving and shit like that. So yeah, that's gonna be it for us today. We'll be back Tuesday. I'll give you all the floor. I don't know if you have any last thoughts, like any random thoughts about the game, player, unit, coach, anything, but I think I'm good on my side.
I guess all I would say is, hey, we are in the playoff hunt, AJ. Whether you like it or not, man, gear up, man. Put your big boy pants on. Get ready for this run. You know what I'm saying? Get behind Taylor Heineke and root.
Yeah, man. I think just from this game, man, just actually over the weekend, I think I wanted to text you guys, but I probably just forgot. I was just like watching a lot of the quarterback play, like Anthony Richardson from Florida.
Caleb Williams, the best.
Taylor Williams, I mean, but yeah, he can't come into.
I fell asleep on that goddamn game.
Caleb Williams, the truth.
But hey, Dre, that was a weird game for Caleb. How you throw for 502 yards and only 2 touchdowns?
Cause man, like he was moving the ball, like they weren't always like throwing when they would get down to the red zone. But I mean, Caleb Williams, he makes every throw, man. Like he looks like Deshaun Watson, but
he's 2024, right?
Deshaun Watson.
He's legit. He's super legit. But yeah, just overall, I think what I've been looking at when it comes to this team in particular, I just feel like if they, of course, y'all know I don't really want Ron to be the head coach, but if he ends up staying and they get the right offensive coordinator in here, they can literally get an average ass quarterback that's a dual threat and could really be a threat offensively. Like Anthony Richardson will probably drop later on in the first round and maybe even second, depending on how things go with his interviews and stuff of that nature. I mean, he's not the best quarterback, but he's able to make some throws and also able to create outside the pocket. So that's just like things that I've been looking at. But other than that, man, I'm so tired of seeing these bum ass quarterbacks with this franchise and this bum ass offensive coordinator.
You know what's gonna be
Yeah,
funny, AJ? Because all this, you know what hurts the worst? All this talking, right? And then Ron gets convinced.
to
Ron
keep
gets
Scott
convinced.
Turner.
He's like, all Scott needs is a quarterback.
Right.
I know.
Because
Wanna get him a
the
quarterback.
worst part about this is that boy Scott got an extension in March.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, and then you have this whole ownership thing playing out. It's like, we really don't know what the hell is going to happen. December is going to be an interesting month
Yeah.
as a Washington fan, because I am suspecting that the team, as far as like agreement, could happen in December before the holiday. But, of course, that's when people start to figure out, hey, am I going to be living in Ashburn and working here any longer or not? So that'd be a quite interesting month. But, glad them boys was able to beat Houston, because it would have got real ugly if they lost to this bum-ass team. But I think another thing I took away, this team actually had interest in the guard, Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M, and boy, did he get dogged.
He had a horrible
game. Dogged.
Hey.
So they were actually thinking about picking him before Jahan Dotson.
Oh, before Jahan. I was about to say that was a problem.
No, he was up, but he reminded me that game he had against John Allen and Deron Payne. It looked like when Mark Curry was on hanging with Mr. Cooper playing against Charles Barkley and them. Like, that's what it looked like.
That's a throwback.
You took it back. I remember that as a kid.
Nah, hey, this whole situation is crazy. But shout out to them boys in the trenches, man. John Allen and Deron Payne handling business. Fellas,
man, Payne.
Yes,
sir.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Fellas, catch you all Tuesday. Y'all stay safe. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. And we'll chop it up about ATL and the boys on
ATL
Tuesday.
shout.
Yes, sir. Armani.
ATL,
no Friday show, just on my side. I got some things I got taken care of. But we're back tomorrow for the Washington Commanders morning show. Y'all stay safe. Fellas, y'all take it easy. Everybody in the chat, appreciate y'all tuning in. Enjoy y'all Sunday. Peace.